Welcome back, everybody. This is the Team Liquid Legacy Star League qualifier number 4. That's right, we're just past the halfway mark, and more importantly, we are now going into the first semifinals match. It is going to be a PvZ between Liquid Drone and S.A-Julia. I am so excited that Drone has made it this far.
Me too. I'm expecting big things from him right now because yeah, I'm really rooting for him to knock out a Zerg right now because, as we all know, Liquid Drone is, of course, a race picker. So anytime he plays against a Zerg, he's going to be Protoss. So he's going to be representing the hope. He's going to be our hero of the piece. And much as I know Julia is a good player, I don't want it to be too heavily weighted towards Zerg. So yeah, rooting for Drone here. And of course, Drone being a legendary old school player, always good to see the guys go through and to perform well. And the map is going to be Jade. So I think this is going to be an exciting game. I know it is for me anyway.
Indeed, we've already seen some crazy games on this map. We saw actually one of Drone's matches against Nalgrim yesterday, and I believe that was on this map, where it was a super long PvZ, and Nalgrim actually took it. Drone got in a really good position, and just Nalgrim's late game ZVP was just too strong, and he managed to actually take that. So hopefully Drone's figured some stuff out here to use against Julia.
Yeah, but you know, if you can go like that against Nogren, then certainly you can pull out a good game against anyone. So anyone who thinks Drone wouldn't be on form, think again. Drone is looking good and looking like he can take games. So this is going to be a pretty serious contest between these two guys, and we're going to have more Liquid Drone excitement. So what more could you really ask for?
I mean, it's the Team Liquid Legacy Star League, right? He's on home turf here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is his tournament, so yeah, expecting great things. And
Exactly.
just a quick note in case anyone isn't clear, basically the winner of this match will immediately qualify for the TLS. So both players in the finals qualify. It's just that the winner of the finals match gets to choose their group in the group stage. So I'm sure many of you have heard this several times already, but just in case we have some new viewers today, just want to make that clear. So a very, very important match actually, the semifinals. The loser will just get some points towards qualifying. So I think with that, we can go straight into the game. Here we go. Our first semifinal match, Drone versus Julia.
Let's do it.
Alright, here we are in the game. At the top left as the Teal Protoss, we have TOT Ariador, aka Liquid Drone. And at the bottom left as the Yellow Zerg, we have S.A-Julia. Sorry, not S.J.Julia. And looks like we had Keontae as our handy-dandy observer guy, who is now gone.
We did indeed. So thank you very much, Keontae, for doing the hosting honors. Good of him indeed. And the two players getting ready to square off. Friendly chat is over. It's time to get mean. It's time to get really, really mean. I often find that if I chat too much at the beginning of the game, I start to identify with my opponent. Then it's a slippery slope from there to just being like, oh, you know what, you can have the game. You know, it was a goodie, so you know, you can take this one. I'll have the next one.
Dude, that is exactly the same, man. See, that's why, like, you know, people always, you know, some people, they like to be friendly and chat and stuff, and I never want to chat, and they're like, oh, see you on sale. Why are you so antisocial, man, dude? But I'm like, you know, that's actually why I like playing on Fish, because you can't talk to the Koreans anyway. So you can, so like in my mind when I'm laddering, it's just like I pretend my opponent is like some terrible, you know, faceless monster who's just like, you know, I gotta do everything in my power to destroy him. He is no friend of mine. So yeah, talking in the beginning of the game makes that a little bit harder.
Yeah, I just try and switch off the fact that my opponent is an actual person with an actual personality, thoughts, feelings, a life, and all that stuff, and just try to think of him as the faceless horror which I must destroy at all costs.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, though, anyone who plays Zerg must be a terrible person, so it's probably a fair assessment.
Undoubtedly, yeah, undoubtedly. I think we can all agree on that. Anyone disagree? No? Good. Okay, great. It's settled. We have a forward fast expand happening here from Mr. Liquid Drone. So he's going to be playing the standard stuff. We're not going to see any crazy draw-style gateway first play today, unless someone decides to pull out that kind of thing, which would be absolutely cool. And from the other side of things we had, was that a 9-pool? Was that a 9-pool sale?
I believe it was an overpool.
Yeah, it looks more like an overpool time.
Yeah. And we are going to have the expansion follow-up as well. But don't worry, Elegant, because this is a best of 3, so we could still see many 9 pulls. And by many, I mean we could see 2 9 pulls potentially.
It's like you're reading my mind. You know what I want to see, and you know exactly what to say to make me feel better. And that's important.
Interesting scouting, by the way. So this initial scouting probe went to the bottom right, didn't see anything except I think he saw the Overlord, so he set the second probe immediately to the bottom left here to see his opponent's base. I think that's what happened. I didn't actually catch that on the camera. Meanwhile, this drone, is he going to get taken down? No! If the probe actually attacked it, it would have died. But in this case, it did luck out there and live. But we do have the probe also scouting out the Zerg's base, seeing nothing out of the ordinary here from Julia. There are a couple of extra Zerglings made actually, and there's a few Zerglings on the side. I'm not sure if they're hidden on purpose or what. They actually just kind of scooted around.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I wouldn't imagine so. Maybe though. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think there's any great purpose he can do with those. I mean, I don't think he has enough links to do any kind of effective run by. Although, having said that, he could just about manage a run by. He might get 1 or 2 of his lings into the Protoss main, but I'm not sure it'd be entirely worth it at this point. The scouting probe is going to be able to stay alive for quite some time, as long as drones micro is good. While there's a little bit of downtime, I was actually pondering something earlier today. I think I put it in the Skype chat as well, but I was wondering kind of how hold that thought, because it looks like we do actually have a little bit of a sneaky run by coming in, and he's going to get, is it going to be 2 lings into the main? Yes, he's going to get 2 lings into the main, one of them seriously damaged, so let's see how long he can keep those alive for. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was wondering earlier kind of how sorry, completely getting sidetracked, how this kind of thing affects how people play on ladder. So for example, since Draw has really been going for those gateway first, I wonder how many gateway first players we're going to be seeing popping up on the ladder, and also how many kind of speed shuttle players we're going to see late game PvZ, and I reckon it'd be really fascinating to know what kind of effect.
Dude, it's like how after Fantasy pulled out his crazy Fantasy TVZ build, like everyone started doing it on ladder, and I remember Chill actually saying like, oh man, ladder is so good for ZVT nowadays because you know what builds a Terran is doing, so you just like, and basically because no one has like the mechanics of Fantasy, so everybody just messes it up, and it's basically free wins for Zergs. I remember, it was so funny when Chill was talking about it.
Because I think there's going to be a lot more kind of speed shuttle play right now against late game Zerg. I might be completely wrong, but I think I have a sneaky suspicion that's going to be the way it kind of goes. So all you Zergs playing on the IC Cup ladder, watch out for anyone who's been watching the games of Draw and has been enchanted by the way he plays late game PvZ.
Oh, but meanwhile, we do actually have a Zealot harassing in the natural here. Nothing to defend it, actually. Gonna get 1 drone kill. Might actually get a second one here. Oh man, looks like Drone is not just going to let the Zerg have his way in his own base. Going to do a bit of counter harassment of his own, although a few Zerglings popping out now. By the way, an interesting thing is that Julia has not been going for the standard build, standard opening so far. He's actually gone for the 3rd hatchery at his natural rather than at another base. Which is slightly curious. I'm not 100% sure why he's done that. But in the meantime, he's losing more and more units here to this Zealot harass here. Yeah. Having to pull his drones as well, losing a lot of mining time. Looks like the Zealot in the main is still alive here. Might even get another drone kill.
Yeah, he probably will. It's like that Zealot's going to have itself 3 drones, so looking good right there, paying for itself quite nicely. And sending in a 3rd Zealot, I don't know if that's the best idea. That 3rd Zealot just bugging out, going to be getting no hits on any Zerglings before it goes down. And the 4th Zealot should definitely be going home. There's no way that can do anything. Yeah, it looks like that is going to head home. Not going to be caught up to by those Zerglings. I don't think it should be able to get back safely. And meanwhile, we do have a Citadel going down already for Drone in a hidden location at the natural. How do you like that?
I like this very much here. No tech planted in the main base. This Overlord sees absolutely nothing. Although actually the second Overlord though does see the Simon X4. I don't know if it's in range of the Citadel. I feel like it's very, very close here. It might barely be on the edge of his vision, just barely enough to actually click it. Although I'm not 100% sure. If he can't see that, that's like a huge giveaway on what the Protoss is doing. Why is there a drone just charging into the Protoss base? That was weird.
Yeah, bit too Rambo with that drone. Well, actually, it was kind of like Rambo's rather geeky younger brother who doesn't really know what he's doing.
It would be like if Rambo was in real life and, you know, people could his enemies could actually shoot guns. That's what would actually happen to him, you know, rather than the movie thing where, you know, people keep shooting at him and the bullets just go completely wild. Like that was real life Rambo. You charge in and you just die instantly. There is no glory. There's no 2-hour movie. It's just,
immediate death. There's one death in the film, and that death is Rambo. Maybe he gets a wild shot off before he goes down, but basically, that's it. Ariado doing a little bit of sneaky action with the Dragoon in the back of his main base. Julia actually notices that before even the Dragoon starts shooting. Julia's looking well on the ball right there. So that Overlord is going to make its great escape. But we do already have the Spire coming in from Mr. Julia, so cheesy stuff. We're going to have a whole bunch of Musos popping quite soon, and this is a little bit worrying for Drone, who has got no Stargate Ep as of yet. So he's going to need at least one Archon, I would say, or at least a significant number of cannons to defend.
Man, I'm not actually sure what build he was thinking of anyway. I mean, it's like a speed lot attack, but he only added 2 more gateways, which is slightly an odd thing. Usually when you see it, you either see like a very fast second gateway in the natural, or like 3 more gateways before that. But he's gone for 3 gateways in total rather than 4, and now he's getting two High Templars. So this Hidden Citadel thing, skipping the Stargate, I'm not 100% sure what his overall plan was. And in the meantime, he's getting 2 cannons in the main base, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough when you know, 7 or 8 mutas actually fly in there.
No, which is what's exactly what's about to happen. He does see those mutas, but the extra cannons, no way there's going to be up in time. He's going to need those 2 High Templars to be made into an Archon right away. I doubt they'll be able to sneak out to the natural. They may be able to do the sneaking action out to the natural, but they're going to mill around a bit. They do decide to make up the Archon straight away. Those cannons, there's no way they're going to be getting in. He just needs to pull all his probes and try and save some of his economy by doing so until that Archon's in. This looks like kind of a weird, hold that thought, because you do have Zealots going into the natural and they all die horribly, so that's a bit useless for Ariado right here, and he's looking in a significant amount of trouble. But this is kind of a weird facsimile of that, you know, that classic Archon speed zealot timing attack. But if that's what he was doing, he's done it wrong. The timings have not worked out for him. The Archon is now complete. He's going to be able to get back there and try and defend those mutas, but of course the short range of the Archon makes this very, very difficult to actually work.
Oh man, this is so annoying as a Protoss, and this is why nowadays the majority of the PvZs you do see Corsair openings with at least a few Corsairs, just because of this kind of thing. You know, modern unit control is just so ridiculously good that making an Archon is often not going to cut it. Although he's going to get a lot of hits there, he does actually clean up the mutas at the natural. Bit of a mistake there from Julia, I think, just trying to regroup them with the mutas in the main. And there's a second Archon now in the main to help defend against that. But more and more mutas coming out. Although the Archons are just really, really strong here. If you are a StarCraft 2 player and haven't witnessed Brood War Archons in action, one Brood War Archon can actually take out like a full control group of mutas easy peasy if they're clumped.
Yeah, very, very good. Archons are just super powerful. I mean, they do splash damage. They do 30 base damage right there. So that's really pretty high stuff, and they have a nice high fire rate as well. So scary, especially against the stacking useless. Going to be able to maybe snipe off a High Templar right here, but probably not going to have the firepower to do that. Maybe grab 1 or 2 more probes. But these mutas probably reaching the end of their effective life, although so almost taking a bunch of hits there.
Now, the thing is, I wonder if he's actually panicking a bit and over-making Archons, because the Muta threat is basically gone right now, but he only has Archons. He just made 4 Archons, and Archons are actually not particularly effective against Hydralisks. So if Julia just has a huge Hydra switch right now, those Archons are actually not going to be nearly as useful as the High Templar with Storm would be. So, you know, making, 2 or even 3 Archons in this situation is fine. Making this 4th one, I think, a bit overkill. Could have just kept the 2 High Templar for Storm here. I don't actually know if he's even gone Storm. He's not researching right now. Presumably he hasn't, actually.
I think
man,
not.
he's just like trying to hold on right now, but the problem is that even if he survives now, 5 minutes from now, he's going to be in really bad shape.
Yeah, his economy is in absolutely rotten condition. I mean, we can see he's still losing probes right here. He's got Archons milling around, stacking on each other in the natural. What a calamity this is for Liquid Drone. And I think this is not looking good for him in game 1. He has 57 supply versus his opponent on 63 supply, steadily drawing ahead. The Hydra production has begun. The bottom right-hand corner base is going up, so the 3rd is now happening for our Zerg player. And yeah, Julia is looking well on top of this, and Drone is just basically having to try and cobble together some kind of decent army and some kind of economy to get himself back into this, but it is a rough situation.
Indeed it is, and we do have lurkers on the way here. So if he can keep the Protoss back long enough to get a lurker contained outside the natural, that's going to be completely brutal for Drone, because Drone, has very little that can actually deal with the lurkers. He's only got 3 Dragoons right now. He's actually walled himself out from protecting the Cybernetics Core. Oh man, the Cybernetics Core might actually go down before range finishes. That'll be huge. You need range goons to deal with lurkers effectively here, but just because of that position, I think it will go down. There's nothing you can do about it. Julia trying to stack properly, and there it does go down before range finishes. Huge blow to the Protoss, and the mutas are continuing to doing damage here. Julia just doing crazy amounts of damage with these mutas, and now the lurkers are coming forward. I don't know if he's just going to go for a bust or just contain. I think a contain might be a better idea, because running into these 2 cannons with 4 Archons, they're probably not the best move.
Although it looks like he might go for the bust. No, he is just going to burrow down and having to actually do a little bit of damage limitation there. Burrowing down just in range of that photon cannon.
Drop elegant, slow drop on the left.
Okay, we have a couple of lurkers going to be actually slow drop with an overlord into the back of Ariado's base, of Drone's base, and I don't know, okay, he does have 1 cannon, but I think the Lurker should be able to make it up to the top of the back of the mineral line and are going to be able to shoot pretty much freely right there. Yes, one Lurker is going to sneak through, another one down at the bottom, and this is going to leave Drone pretty much not mining at all.
Yeah, it looks like the Mutasar is actually still doing damage. All the drones were actually, like, the drones don't know where to go. The main is attacked by Lurkers, the Natural's attacked by Mutalisks. It's like, where do you actually transfer your pros right now? This is just a really rough position. He's basically not mining anymore. He's at 41 minerals. It's not going up. He's attacking his own Archon to kill the Lurker there, but it looks like it's not really working out. And GG from Drone. Julia takes game number 1.
Well, yeah, that was really decisive stuff. Drone went for some kind of weird build order that seemed a little bit indecisive and just got completely picked apart by something which he didn't see coming. His scouting just didn't seem quite on the ball enough, and yeah, he's going to have to be a lot more careful in game 2 because I can't quite figure out at what point that was meant to work somehow.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. I mean, both players actually had slightly unusual strategies, I think. You know, Julia not taking that fast third base either. So interesting stuff from him. I mean, I definitely think Julia saw that Citadel with the Overlord. That's why he went for those Mutas.
Yeah.
And it did turn out very, very nicely. But yeah, the Lurker drop just finished it all off.
Yeah, that was really nasty for Drone because once he didn't have enough photon cannons in the first place, so the Mutas were just able to run riot, and he wasn't able to place any more photon cannons because the Mutas were already there. And so the Archons didn't have the range to effectively deal with it, and it just went from bad to worse so quickly, especially when your natural expansion has that position where the minerals are right against the back wall, so the Archons can't really get behind properly. It's just super nasty.
It's very bad indeed. So we'll be back after these commercials with game number 2. See you in a bit.